Today, I'll be going over the top 10 best loadouts and gunsmith class setups in Season 7 of Call of Duty Mobile. This list has my most used guns in the current ranked season, and I have absolutely been dominating the competition thus far. These loadouts are incredibly deadly and should be considered, as always, illegal to use inside the game. Let's also try to get 400 likes on today's video, and if you're new finding me for the first time and you enjoy my content, make sure to go ahead and smash that subscribe button like your life depends on it, because we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I will be doing a giveaway at that time, and in order to participate, make sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which will be linked down below in the description as well as in the comments section. Alright guys, so welcome to the top 10 loadouts that I currently use for Season 7 of Call of Duty Mobile. So, going over the very first loadout that I have here, which is going to be the MX9, I do want to point out first thing, for my secondaries, I always run a katana. For my operator, I use the kinetic armor because it's really good at just blocking dumb, grenades, extra bullets when I'm going for nuke streaks, and this is really good up against annihilators and so on and so forth. So yeah, I use the sticky grenade as always. I use the trophy system. Those really haven't changed over time much. My perks have stayed consistent throughout multiple seasons of Call of Duty Mobile, being the lightweight, toughness, and hardline. Sometimes I kind of change between toughness and quick fix, and hardline or tactical mask, because now over time throughout the season we've seen more gas tacticals coming out. But for score streaks, I usually run UAV, counter, and advanced because I'm always trying to go for a nuke streak whenever I can, and whenever I'm bored, I always, like I said, I just want to go for a nuke streak. But in terms of my skin, I always like to run a female skin, being the Artery. It is my current favorite inside COD Mobile. So I'm going to go ahead, first up is going to be the MX9. Here's going to be the Gunsmith loadout for this weapon. Go ahead and take a look at it. And yeah, this is going to be the Gunsmith loadout for the MX9. Let's go ahead and move on to loadout number 2. So for loadout number 2, we're going to be rocking with the LK24. The LK24 got significant changes in Season 5 and basically in Season 6 and Season 7, not Season 5, but it got a pretty nice buff. Obviously, everything's still consistent. And honestly, one of the best assault rifles in the current meta of Season 7. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Gunsmith build for it. This is going to be the Gunsmith build, and feel free to go ahead and check this out. Use this in your ranked loadouts. And let's go ahead and move on to loadout number 3. So for loadout number 3, we're going to be going with the DRH. The DRH is a very symbolic weapon in COD Mobile. It's been a pillar. It's been one of the best assault rifles in the game. And it recently received an ADS bullet spread buff. And overall, everything's still consistent. And this is probably the best Gunsmith build for the DRH, as you can see here. Honestly, this will never let you down. It will have, the best ADS bullet spread, the best mobility, and the best handling overall in terms of any assault rifle build for the DRH. But moving on to loadout number 4, we are going to be rocking with the HVK-30. Such an underrated weapon. I actually rated this weapon as number 4 on the top 5 best guns during the season. And this is not to be underestimated. This gun kills quick. Honestly, it's a much better version of the AK-117. You want to play like, with the AK-117, play with this gun instead. Honestly, will never stop you. Let's go ahead and check out the Gunsmith build for it. This is going to be the Gunsmith build. We're going to be rocking with, the monolithic as well. I have monolithic across all my guns, and, just the standard Gunsmith build. But this Gunsmith build is the best for it, no doubt about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to loadout number 5. Loadout number 5, we're going to be rocking with none other than the Holger. As always, the Holger, the most broken and just insane LMG of all time. Literally, COD Mobile made a weapon that, even though they nerfed it drastically, it still isn't, bad. It still is very good. And of course, combining that with the best shotgun in the game, being the Shorty, well, basically the best secondary, you can see why the Holger is actually the very best. This combination of loadouts. So we're going to go ahead and go over the Holger loadout, which is right here. So as you can see here, mono across all departments, and this is probably going to be the best Gunsmith build, just because, just take note of this, and I also pointed this out in my top 7 best loadout, or top 7 best guns. You can't use no stock and MIP light barrel on the default variant of the Holger. If you do happen to have the mythic variant, then you can do it. Other than that, if you have the default variant, you can only run one of the two. But I'd highly suggest running MIP light, just because it won't affect your bullet spread accuracy or your recoil as much. Moving on to loadout number 6, we are going to be rocking... Actually, no, I forgot to go over the Shorty build. So for the Shorty, this is going to be the best Gunsmith build for it. You can either change the muzzle to the Marauders, muzzle. Basically, it's another, mono suppressor, but for the shotgun. But other than that, this is a very good Gunsmith build for that as well. So actually, moving on now to number 6, We're going to be going over the Locus. I like to have a sniper loadout just in case. I mean, I never really use sniper, but just in case if I always want to use one, I always have one at my disposal. So going for the Locus is just purely an ADS build, as you can see here. Nothing too fancy, nothing too out of the ordinary like that. Just something that I like to use from time to time, and even in pubs, so to speak. So anyways, that's going to be the Locus. Next up, we do have the Bizon, which is going to be very interesting to use. So for the Bizon, we have, the mono standard marksman. The only difference here is the ammunition, and I've also switched up with the RTC steady stock. So honestly, take out the ammunition. You don't really need the large caliber ammo. It doesn't really make a whole difference. It doesn't make a huge difference on the gun, right? You want to get that maximum range capacity, and you also want to tighten up the ADS bullet spread accuracy a bit on this weapon. So that's why I highly recommend just running the marksman, the mono, the laser, the granulated, and the steady, because then it just puts everything nicely together. It tightens up everything. It gives you the maximum range you can possibly have, and it's just very good. Honestly, it's very good. It basically makes it to where pre-nerf, before they actually pre-nerf the ADS bullet spread accuracy and the range. Moving on to Gunsmith Loadout number 8, we're going to be talking about with the AS-Val. The AS-Val is such a pivotal weapon. I ranked it number 1 during my top 5 best guns of all time, and there's a reason for that, right? It's basically the best close-range killing assault rifle in the game. Didn't really receive much of a nerf other than a reload nerf, but not too bad, honestly. So for the AS-Val, right, we're going to be rocking with the mono, obviously the MIP mid-range barrel. You got that other stuff. You got the standard OWC laser. I like to run striker foregrip and granulated just because the vertical recoil on this gun is not the best. But, I mean, if you are able to control the vertical recoil, I'd highly recommend using something else other than the strike foregrip, maybe a stock, or even just putting on a perk for that matter. You can probably even put on long shot perk, and it will probably even make it even better. But other than that, this is kind of the stable and the standardized build you would want to be running on this gun. I wouldn't be using any other gun or any other gunsmith build per se other than this. And if you're, like I said, this is a very orientated gunsmith build for recoil. If you want to use something not, I would either put on a stock, take out the granulated, maybe put a perk on, or even use an optic, even if you don't like the red dot sight. I mean, the iron sights, but the iron sights are actually very good for this gun. Moving on to loadout number 9. Loadout number 9 is very interesting. I actually made a gunsmith video on this gun. The RUS definitely has a place this season. And depending if, like, the SMG meta gets, technically the SMG meta will be a little bit worse due to the fact that, as we all know, the movement next season will be getting a nerf. But, the RUS is still a very good gun nonetheless. You just have to play a little bit more passive with it this season, because you don't want to keep running and gunning against Holgers, because Holgers just pre-fire all day long and stuff like that. But when you are playing those close range maps, for example, the RUS does have a chance. So for the gunsmith build, we're going to be rocking with the mono yet again. Like I said, mono is very good on all weapons. Do not underestimate mono. So in terms of that, we are going to be rocking with the YCAM combat stock. Basically, this is a heavy silent ADS build. Basically, it has nice ADS bullet spread accuracy, good ADS time, very good mobility, and honestly, it's very good. I highly recommend. Listen. Use 50 round extended mag on this gun. If you do not use 50 round extended mag on this gun, you are not going to do well with it. Trust me, and just save the time, save the argument for this. Use 50 round extended mag. You will be a lot happier using this gun. I can promise you that much. Now, moving on to the last gun on this list, it is going to be the Fennec. And the Fennec, even though it got nerfed, it's still very good. One of the best close range kill SMGs on the planet. And even though the MX9 ranks higher, the Fennec does come at the second place position, and it's still really good on really good close range maps. Honestly, if you really want to have fun and really slay out your lobbies like incredibly hard, pull out the Fennec. I mean, the Fennec will not disappoint you, but the MX9 is better in some of the better mid-range maps instead of like the close range. But I mean, it's still pretty good. Like I said, MX9 rules number 1, but Fennec comes out a very close number 2 due to the nerfs, right? So for the gunsmith build, I would recommend using these attachments, right? You're running with the mono, the MIP extended light, the YCAM laser ranger, because the YCAM laser ranger is a very interesting attachment on this gun. And just to be, quick with it, the moving ADS bullet spread accuracy is very important for the Fennec, because you are utilizing a ton of movement. You are sliding while being, getting into a gunfight and killing people. So you want to make sure your moving ADS bullet spread accuracy is very good. Otherwise, if it's not and you're using the OWC laser tactical, the bullet spread is not going to be tighter, and it's going to feel like your bullets are not registering. So you just want to make sure that you have these attachments. And if you do have the mythic variant, take off. I mean, like I said, if you have the mythic variant, use you don't have to use an optic. But if you're not a fan of, if you have the default variant and you want to use a red dot sight, you can. But just know that you are kind of hurting the potential of the gun. Basically, you want to train yourself to use the bad iron sights on the gun, basically. But regardless of that, I do hope you guys enjoy, these top 10 best loadouts in Season 7 of Call of Duty Mobile. This was one of the most requested videos of all time, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know if any one of these loadouts helped you guys out, and, any of the Gunsmith builds and stuff like that, and you guys will be able to slay out your rank lobbies. I know this season has a pretty stale meta just because it's still basically Season 6 Part 2, but we are going to get through it and make it to Season 8, and hopefully that meta will be a lot better. So let me know your thoughts down below, how you guys are doing this season, and if you guys love this top 10 ranked loadouts. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.